Hello everyone, this is Sweet Lou Jeff Luzatter back here at Indianapolis and the Sheridan at Keystone and the Crossing for the 2016 Indiana High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. And our spotlight inductee, the 10th inductee into this organization back in 1979 is Paul Spider Fields. And Paul, really appreciate your time here. Of course, you and I, good buddies. You coached at Lafayette Jeff High School. And let's just get right to the chase here. In '79, you were inducted into this organization, and talk a little bit about how this thing actually got started.
Well, there were several of us got together. Tom Bradley, Bill Jones, myself, and there were Ryan Bowl and Schreiber. We got together and thought the idea of having an organization such as the Indiana Baseball Coaches Association would be a good deal. And it has, needless to say, it had turned out to be a great deal.
Did you think it would ever be what it is? I mean, obviously, Spider, you wanted to be successful. You wanted the camaraderie the way it is now, but boy, they're talking about attendance in the association is you broke another record this year, I guess. Did you foresee this ever getting like this?
Not really. I don't think. We were just more anxious to get something started and see where it would go from there. But it had, and the thing that really made it go then was the tournament that started in 1967.
Right. Well, you won the state championship in 1969 and 1973, and one of your players went into the Legion of the Bronco, Lafayette Jeff, here this past week, and starting pitcher Bill Oles. And of course, a lot of the inductees have talked about their prestige you've got being in the Hall of Fame and being coach of a state championship. But you didn't do it all yourself. You had obviously some players, and Bill Oles was one of them.
No, I tell you what, Lou. When anybody asks me what we base our success on, I say actually based on two things. One, we had a lot of talent. Lafayette Jeff has always had a lot of talent in baseball, and that talent was willing to work. And secondly, we had an outstanding group of parents. We go to Richmond, Marion, Muncie, Hammond, Knoll, and play up there. We'd have more people from Lafayette in the stands than they'd have at their hometown. Yeah.
It says here 66 through 67. Any pressure on you guys through the 45-game winning streak?
Not to my knowledge. We had just a real good bunch of guys, and we just took each game in stride and played the way it was supposed to be played. That was about as simple as it could be, I think. We went to East Chicago, and we played Hammond Morton, and that ended our 45-game win streak. But we got beat up there 1-0 in the semi-state.
And your two state championships, as I mentioned, 69 and 73. I mentioned earlier, there's nothing better than winning. Either one of those different, or were they about the same? One stand out more than the other, Spider, 69 compared to 73?
Well, the one in 73 really stands out, but Lou, because we played LaPorte in the final game. We played Jeffersonville in the morning game, and Bill Oles pitched that ball game. We beat them 1-0. And then we played Kenny Schreiber and the LaPorte Ball Club in the championship game, and we were down 6-0. I mean, we had nothing, and they had 6 in the second inning. And we came back little by little, and we won the ball game 8-6.
Wow.
And Bill came back in and threw the last 3 innings of that game. That was back when we had, well, even now, 10 innings of pitching. So he pitched the morning game, and we won it 1-0, and then we won the final game 8-6. That was probably the biggest comeback we ever had.
Of course, you talk about bigs. 1971, you were state finalist and you were defeated by LaPorte, but boy, what a record, 43-2. That's a lot of baseball.
Yeah, well, again, we had a lot of good ball players. We had a lot of good talent, and they were willing to work at it. Lord only knows how many hours we put in almost daily, except Sunday.
Of course, you had the privilege of a few coaches. One of them we talked about earlier, the Hall of Famer Brian Keister got to coach his son in baseball. Of course, you had your son starting catcher for you there for a while. What was that like, Spider?
Lou, that was one of the biggest thrills in my life. Actually, I had two sons that caught for us, and our oldest son, Jim, was also an outstanding basketball player. Jeff held the scoring record there for many, many years, and went on to play at Ball State. But Jim came in 1971 as a freshman, and he caught for us 1, 2, 3, and 4. So he played in 2 state championships, and he played, Lou, because he was good enough to play. The same way with our youngest son. Our youngest son, Jerry, played on our 75 club, the last club that I coached, and we were 29-0. We lost the last regular season game of the year, and we went into the tournament 29-1, and we got beat by Terre Haute North in the semi-state, 3-2, I believe it was, and yeah, it was one of the greatest honors that I ever had was coaching my two sons.
Well, back in those 70 era, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, even back to 69 when you won, obviously you guys had a target on your back through those years. Did you ever say anything to the guys about, hey, in order to be successful, you got to come out with your best every game? Obviously, you strive for that, but sometimes a guy's not going to have his his swing, or his pitch is not going to be that sharp one night. How'd you get through that?
Well, Jeff, back in those days, we had great radio coverage, and we also had great newspaper coverage. And I think they done the talking for me. I didn't have to do much because they would pick up the newspaper, and there was an article in there maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And then if you played, when I first took over in 1960, we played 15 games.
Wow.
In 1941, like I say, we played, I think, 44 games. So we got to the point where we'd rather play than to do practice. The game maybe last 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes of practice maybe last 3 or 4 hours. You go to a clinic, and one of the questions that was oftentimes asked, how long do you practice? My answer to that was, till we get through. We have lights at Loeb Stadium till we get through. If things weren't going the way we wanted them to be, or hopefully they would be, we just turned the lights on and go a little longer. And we had, like I said, we had great parents.
Well, the facility, you talk about Loeb Stadium, there's, what a place to play baseball.
Well, most teams that we play wanted to play in Loeb Stadium. We'd play, Jim Reinbold would come down with South Bend Clay. During the spring break, we'd play maybe 7 or 8 games during that time. And we'd catch the teams as they were going north to south, and we'd play them.
Well, you won 404, lost 70, and do you remember the one tie, Spider?
Do I remember the what?
The one tie game?
Oh yeah, that one was North Central. Tom Bradley, who was also a member of the Hall, he was deceased at this time now. We played over at, we got caught by darkness here in Indianapolis. So, yeah, it was 2-2, and we dedicated their field that day, their new baseball field. Yeah.
Wow. Well, sure appreciate your time, Spider.
No problem.
Best of luck to you. Tell your sweet wife I said hello, and we'll probably see you down the road here. Always good to see you in attendance here.
Thank you, Lou. Sweet Lou. It's always good to see you, and I have people tell me every once in a while, but whenever I see Sweet Lou, tell them we said hello.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
This is Sweet Lou Jeff Luzatter, and that concludes our red carpet show. Thanks for watching, everyone, and good night.